Check, check. Quick sound check. Can everybody hear us loud and clear? What's going on, Coach Paul?
I'm hearing you loud and clear, Coach Jay. And what goes down must come back up Friday. Wow.
What a wild day. What a wild week in the markets. Man, how was your day, Coach Paul?
A very good day. Actually, it started last night. It was a very good night. I let some runners go. Really didn't trade much. Actually, got kind of bored.
Put on a
And
trade,
that's a
let it
good
work.
thing. Yeah. How about you?
So in the Topstep account, lost a little bit. I was trading on. It's actually so this XFA. I'm trading to get to the fifth payout. Right, that's one of the quickest criteria to get to a live account. And one of the things that I've been trying to do is just let's just lock in $150 days. But I accidentally set a $150 loss limit instead of a $150 profit target. So I lost 150 bucks in this account. And then outside of that, did get long in the NASDAQ in a combine during fast markets, got long in a personal as well. So decent day overall. Cannot complain. It's been a great week. So, but my winning streak has come to an end. I was on a 11-day winning streak, and I lost it on a clerical error on my part.
Well, it's a limited clerical error.
For sure.
Be happy for that.
Absolutely.
Because those can be
It can be big.
devastating.
Yes, they can be.
I've experienced that.
Absolutely.
But, yeah, nice job this morning in fast markets.
Thanks, Coach. Thank you. Welcome to At the Buzz, everybody. Our market recap. If this is your first time here, the goal of this segment is to review what happened in the markets for the day. We may talk about some markets you have not traded before, but we believe our goal as traders is to identify opportunity. We want to see how we can take advantage of those opportunities while managing our risk. I'm Coach Jay. Been a Topstep performance coach since June of 2023, and that is Coach Paul. Coach Paul, go ahead and introduce yourself.
I'm Coach Paul. I've been with Topstep since April of 2023. I've been involved in the futures trading industry for 4 decades. I'm here to share some of my experiences, some knowledge, and hopefully help you become a better trader.
Awesome stuff. You are all in the chat, our audience. Thank you for joining us each and every day that you do. Let us know how you did this week. Were you up on the week, down on the week, anything that you learned from this week? It was a wild week in the markets for sure. Let's take a look at some news really quick. As far as numbers go, we did have Michigan sentiment prelim was the big one, came in at 57.3. Forecast was 55, so sentiment a little bit higher than expected. We had a bunch of Fed speakers as well. We had the Iran-US meeting that sounds like it's maybe not going great. So there was that as well. There was some opportunity in crude oil, opportunity in these markets, across the board. But anything you got on the news, Coach Paul, that you want to talk about?
No, but Crude reflected that it's on again, it's off against romance. But no big news. Something happened in Asia last night, and we'll go over that in the charts. But I don't know what the news is, but there was some big buying off something.
Yeah, something came out
in Asia, but I don't see anything headline-wise. That the president didn't tell us to buy stocks; they just were bought, and it was relentless.
Yes, so. Yes, it was. As I Fly says, I'm on a winning streak since December 1st. Some days you don't trade. Hey, that can help with the winning streak. Some days the markets are not going to give you an opportunity for your best trade setups. Zach says, after 3 days of losses, Monday through Wednesday, these last 2 days, I'm back to my balance 200 plus. Nice job. What else do we got here? Brad Sims, green on the week and payout eligible. There you go. That's why we do this. Pay yourself from the markets. Luis up 12.97, trading 1 micro Asia Open. Nice job. Bobby, nice. Finally trading smaller. Good to hear, Bobby. Proud of myself. There you go. There you have it. But let's get into the markets. We got 36 different markets we can trade with Topstep accounts today to the downside. This is almost the inverse of how we started the week. I think we were talking on Monday. There were 6 things that were green on the quote board. We don't have a lot of red on the quote board today. We got wheat futures down 0.84%, corn down 0.98%, and natural gas, our biggest percentage mover to the downside, down 3.05%. To the upside, we have the Nikkei up 4.8%, Micro Bitcoin up 10.02%, and Micro Ethereum up 10.03%. Our biggest percentage mover on the upside today. But if you've been paying attention to how Bitcoin was trading, today was just relief for buyers, maybe. Back above 70,000, but Bitcoin had a very ugly week. Looking at that weekly candle,
Yeah.
85,000 down to 60,000, and it opened the week and just has been selling ever since. Nice little relief towards the end of it.
And very large volume.
Yeah, seriously.
It-
Mead says no more metals for Jay. Why not? Why not any more metals? We can still trade metals.
Oh, you absolutely can enjoy it,
Yep. Trade the mic.
Coach. I know why I'm not. I don't want that volatility.
Yeah.
That's me. I don't want to deal with that. There's other opportunities. Now, as we saw yesterday, that volatility can be a really good thing, but it can also end your career. So for me, I don't want to. It's making the NASDAQ look lame. By the way, it's been a great market lately.
Yeah. NASDAQ
I
has
don't
been a
think
great trade.
I was just going to say that, but NASDAQ has been in smooth trading.
Yes, it has
But
been.
why did you stop trading the metals?
I didn't. I was reading a comment from the chat.
Wow.
I was reading a comment from the chat. I will continue to trade them. I traded the metals yesterday. Yeah, traded the metals yesterday or Wednesday going into Thursday. I'll continue to trade them. Trading the micros. You know, you heard Mick on TopstepTV today talking about the risk management portion and limiting the bigger contracts. It makes sense from a risk management and a firm perspective. But I had a decent day trading the micros, which is telling you about the market. It's extremely volatile, which means there's opportunity, but there's opportunity on both sides. So manage risk over everything. To complete our big four, we have crude oil up 0.36%, the S&P up 1.82%, gold up 1.71%, and the NASDAQ up 1.9% on the day to round out our big four. Today is Friday, so we'll take a look at the weekly charts. Weekly chart here in the NASDAQ. Coach Paul, what are you seeing?
I'll tell you what, this weekly chart is not impressive. Even after this rally, we finished lower on the week.
Yeah.
So we're still in the range. But this range we encompassed most of it this week. We finished lower. I don't know. It's not. Maybe I'm reading too much into it. It's sharply sideways. So it's actually given us some great intraday trades. So, but it needs to close outside of this range. Until then, buy low, sell high.
Absolutely. We'll take a quick look at all the equities on the weekly. The S&P, very similar, indecisive wicks on both sides. Take a look at the Russell. Looks a little bit stronger. And then shout out to the Dow, making new all-time highs. 5263 new all-time high in the Dow. Maybe that rotation is still happening. That Dow weekly, very strong. Dow back above 50,000s. But go back to the NASDAQ on the daily, something we talked about yesterday. It had to happen. It had to happen. We have the low of the October 10th candle. And I say that jokingly, right? Nothing has to happen in these markets. But we saw a target yesterday when we were doing at the buzzer. We were pretty much running into the low of the October 10th candle. We were saying there's a high likelihood that we're going to test that 200 moving average. And if you go from there on the daily, 200 moving average on the daily, today was at 24,342. So we'll put that line on the chart there. Yeah, if you couldn't trade metals in a 50K account, it was a little bit of a glitch for 50K accounts. That should be fixed by Sunday. That should be fixed by Sunday. It was just an issue today. But that 200 moving average on the daily chart, was the low, 24,342. Wasn't exactly the low, but this is the NASDAQ we're talking about. So, of course, it's going to run it by 100 points. But what are you seeing on the 30-minute here, Coach Paul?
Okay, you disappointed. It ran it on light volume. So yesterday, after that huge break, we opened up, and well, I don't lower, right? And we first half an hour we had a breakout. So we frame out that we'll look at that first half an hour. And this is a classic. We do this all the time. All right. Now, where's the 200?
Right there, it's 24,342.
Daily. Yep. All right. So we rally, and we price underneath it. But VWAP never left that range. It was like they were probing, or there was panic selling from yesterday. Remember, every day, if you're going to be a day trader, every day is different. Observing, watching price action, and staying in the present. I was bearish coming into today. But as soon as it opens, you read from there. Right there last night, we touched the 200 daily, went through it with a wick. And what was the volume in that half an hour?
The one that tested the 200?
Yeah.
Pretty low.
Yeah, very low. At night.
10,000 contracts in a 30-minute.
Yeah, very light volume. But the key part is when we back into the opening range, we got back over the session VWAP. When we closed above there, that was the low was set, and then off we ran. Every time we touched VWAP last night, we had more buying. We touched it earlier this morning in New York time. There was more buying. Now, what did I expect it to go up to the 200? No. But it tells you that how when you watch, let things unfold without prediction, you can get into a flow. Actually, I was short last night for a while. I covered well when we got to the 200. I did not expect it to explode like this, but what else do you see in that, Coach? You had a couple good trades today.
Yeah, looking to get in long. I did take a couple of short scalps also, but tagging that 200 moving average on the daily, and just the way that this market has been so beat up over the week, this was a level that sellers would have had to continue to push. And if not, there are multiple time frame market participants. If they are not going to continue to sell, anybody who got short last night, I think once price stops moving through that 200 moving average or those lows, they start to cover. There's probably some higher time frame buyers that are sitting down there. So my trades, were during the New York session, but we got some urgency here on a 3-minute. And it was kind of going with the flow of the market. That first hour was still a little choppy, right? It took a little while for price to really get out of here. This trade was never invalidated. I think where I got long was on a pullback to VWAP here. I think I got long from 849s. And if you go with, let's go with 2 ATRs of risk, 80 points. You probably got stopped out. But we've talked about this. If I have 100 points in profit in the NASDAQ, which is how I manage that trade, there's no way that the market is going to take all of that back. Right? I'm going to take something off of it. But this opening range, this 3-minute opening range did hold for the entire session and give us some really nice opportunities. But sometimes you don't get to choose how the market is going to go. But what a rally through the rest of the day. We came back, checked that 3-minute opening range a couple of times. But this was just an opportunity to buy back above 25,000. Next week I think is going to be an interesting week. We've compared this to, February 2025, which we'd be right about here right now. The test of the 200 moving average. Are we out of the woods? I don't know. Today was a bigger response than the test of the 200 moving average then. But we'll see. Next week, I think, is going to be a very interesting week.
Well, also the 200 moving average, the line itself is moving up.
Yeah. Yep.
So we don't know the future, but it was a nice bounce.
Absolutely.
And obviously, there was pent-up buying. They bought it on sale. It's like your favorite wine or beer going on sale. You buy a little extra. So, but still, I mean, you hit it right. Next week tells the tale. I think it's a very important week.
Sure. S&P still very much in that range on the daily as well. Didn't get down to that 200 moving average. Traded to about half of the October 10th candle. And then we looked at the Russell and the Dow still showing a ton of strength there. The Dow being the strongest of the four. Anything else on the equities, Coach Paul? You want to move over to the metals?
Let's move to the metals.
I honestly didn't even really look at gold too much today. But this week, let's take a look at the weekly. What are we seeing here on the weekly?
I see the mother of all wicks on the weekly at all-time highs. I'm still in a bull market, but that's a blow off top. Still, it's got a lot of work to do. That market, but I'll just say, blew up. That top from last week, what we were talking this time last week, we're unchanged
On the
basically
year?
from last Friday. No, from last Friday.
Oh, yeah. Yeah.
So the daily, we're still below the halfway back from the break. We're playing with that 20-day moving average. I'm not friendly to this market. From the daily point of view, to me, it's still a blow off top. We're holding the 50-day moving average. It's at a standstill.
For sure. I think what we're going to see is what we've seen gold do for a while, or every time we get one of these aggressive sell-offs, right? The market is going to find balance. And I think that's what it's doing. So I don't think I'm super favorable in either direction either. Up at this 50% area, 50-25, we saw the rejection there this week. I'd look to be a seller up here and a buyer somewhere lower in the range if I'm going to continue to trade the metals. I saw somebody ask, when are the restrictions going to be removed? When liquidity comes back into this market, into these markets. And again, you still can trade the metals, the Topstep accounts, just not the big ones. Right? You can trade the micros where there is still a ton of opportunity. Let's look at this range today. High to low range today in the micro gold, 319 points. You don't need a ton of size to trade that market if you're going to trade it.
Okay. I'm going to repeat this. That big gold contract in silver, or gold and silver contract at the COMEX, that size was done in 1975 or 70, maybe 74.
Yeah.
Gold was at 150, 200. Silver was at $5, $3. This should have been changed. It's happened so fast.
Yeah.
That it's not tradable. You go ahead and put your own money up. Go to a broker. Say, I want to trade multiples of the big contract in gold and silver. Most of the brokers are going to say, great. Put your minimum is $1 million, $500,000 to $1 million, and we're going to margin you. See, your broker doesn't have to margin you at exchange minimums. It's called exchange minimum for a reason. It's the minimum that an FCM, a broker, can charge for margin. Most of them, retail accounts, they're not going to let you trade the bigs, gold and silver. It is the reality of the volatility. So, we always remember on these the big winners, we don't hear about the people blow up. So the micros are actually a good size. I think the 100 ounce, does that come out Monday?
Yeah, Monday. Yeah, that is correct. 100-ounce silver contract on Monday.
All right, there it is. That's what you get to trade. Trade multiples of those.
Right.
So, yeah. It's the reality of it. It's not just here. It's the reality in the trading world. All right.
But nice moves in silver in gold today. Nice moves in gold today. There is a decent enough range to trade. Silver, we'll talk about it really quick as well. Traded below $65. A wild week in silver. Looks way heavier than gold does. That major sell-off that we had, was that this week? No, that was last week, right?
Yeah, that was last Friday.
Last Friday. Silver still holding that low, but not as bouncy as gold. We haven't even gotten back to that 50%, which I think silver's probably a tougher sell than gold right now for buyers. So 50 moving average though, Coach Paul, right there, right at the high, 77.52 half. Yeah,
that's and that curling 20-day. Like we said, we talked about this after the $113,000 range that silver had on Friday.
Yeah,
it's going to take a long time for this to recover a bull market. This is going to be a long-term liquidation. I just think there's going to be, don't get me wrong, day-to-day trading opportunities. But that kind of, if we look at copper when it broke, it took a long time, and that was a daily. It took months for it to recover. Silver could take, we talked about this last week, that blows up a lot of marginal traders. They're not coming back. So it's gonna slow down. But we're not recovering 120 from my experience. Not in the near term.
Yeah.
All right.
Absolutely. Let's take a look then at crude oil. Crude oil on the weekly. What are you seeing here?
Very bullish to me.
Yeah.
Look at rounding. could be the best market of the year.
Heard someone say that once.
Yeah. Let's go look at that trend line. I think did we close over it? No, not yet.
We had it drawn on the daily. What is it? Well, we closed over this one.
Yeah. Now
that one we closed over.
What's the previous high for large going left?
This one here?
Yeah. No, all the way left. I think that's from the $100. That one right there.
Oh, that way?
Right. Yeah.
Somewhere up near $71.
And one of the things, look at the velocity of this rally. And this happened at the beginning of the year after I don't hear OPEC saying we're going to continue to overproduce. So, but that's the fundamental argument. I don't trade fundamentals. I'm a technical trader. Still looks good. Daily, we're finding some balance, but that balance is above the trend line. We're above the 200 moving average. The 20 is catching up here. It's a cup and saucer. Still looking bullish. And today it was up, down, up.
Yeah. Yes, it was. Taking a look at last night's open in crude. There it is. Then we sold off in Asia. We bought it right back up. We sold it off again. We bought it right back up. Opportunity on both sides, and these ranges are expanding. High to low range in crude oil was 240 ticks, $2.40 about. So there was some opportunity in this market for sure, but yeah, definitely a lot of back and forth. I did take a long in crude oil off of was a J trade, sort of. And here's why I'll say sort of, because it didn't make the low of the day, but it was this volume spike right here. Once we closed above this, I actually did it on a 1 minute. Just taking a little bit of opportunity in this market. This 1 minute candle here, we talked about this, right? When this candle ends up being the low of the day, kind of like we saw here, it's a really nice trade. I wasn't looking at crude oil this time though, but if you were watching during fast markets, I took this trade for the same reason. Now, maybe I don't expect another, and I think I said this when we took the trade, I don't expect another $2 run because that would be a huge anomaly day for crude oil. But taking the same concept of the market closing above high volume, I think I got long from 63.94. Yeah, 63.94, and was able to take profits of about 40 to 50 cents in crude, which is a pretty nice day. So presenting some decent opportunities here in crude oil. Here's another one where sometimes high volume means continuation. Difference here, Coach Paul, we didn't close above this high, rejection, and a decent trade. So if crude is going to continue to expand these ranges, I think I am in strong agreement with you that this could be the market of 2026.
All right. What's the next market? You know what? Yesterday we talked a lot about Bitcoin.
Yeah,
Let's look at Bitcoin.
let's take a look. Nice little recovery day today.
Yeah. What do we see at the bottom?
It's like the equities.
All of these, gold, silver, equities, had the exact same structure. Now, here, Bitcoin, we made this low last night, and it was down to 60,000.
Yep.
60,205. Well, what? Let's look at that half an hour. We had panic selling continue. We broke yesterday's low. Liquidation. Get me out. I never want to trade this thing, whatever. What? Asked our audience, what happened?
What did we get at these lows on a 30-minute? What do we get at these lows?
It's almost a cheating question with the one we ask all the time.
High volume, JD. We got it. What else? What else did we get? There it is. Water fasting results. The J trade. Seller exhaustion. There it is. They turned it right around at a big fat round number level. These are the ones where it's just like, okay, I might take a couple of these and just let it work. We didn't tag 60,000 exactly, but even that's a sign, right? If the sellers are this strong, you've been selling since 85,000, we get to 60 and no one wants to sell any of it. Maybe whoever's selling down here is late to the party and it's over.
Maybe that's liquidation.
Right.
Like, And interesting that happened just before Shanghai opened. I think it was 6:30.
This low was made at uh right around 6:15 Central Time.
Yeah. So when China was opening up, like, like I said, this reminds me, this is why I love this trade. It reminds me of a huge break
Yeah.
when I was on the trading floor, and especially in the bond room, there was no place that was louder. I mean, I guess they compared it to a jet engine.
Mm.
It was that loud. It was all of a sudden that would be that new lows, a lot of action, a lot of audible volume, and then it just stops, like the eye of the proverbial eye of the hurricane. That's what this trade is in reality. Is the selling stopped. Business was done, and then it just starts slowly rising up.
Yeah.
And then the buying begins when we close over, and that's exactly what a J trade is. This one goes in the museum of J trades.
Sure. Right back up to where? 200 moving
white
average, pretty
line.
close to it. So I don't know that Bitcoin's out of the water yet, Coach Paul.
No, I agree. We looked at that weekly. It's not friendly, but remember yesterday we were talking about the large volume towards the close. This bottom was almost twice that volume.
It was.
But it hasn't changed the trend.
No, it hasn't. Not yet. This chart reminds me of the Japanese yen when there was those Bank of Japan intervention. We get this random spike up one day, and then it goes right back to selling off. And as I fly, that's about the same time everything else rebounded. Yeah, it all happened at the same time. Remember, all the suits are in Bitcoin also, so would not be surprised to see them move like the equities. Any other markets, Coach Paul? I know we did a little speed run at the buzzer today, but any other markets that have your attention that you're looking at, maybe going into next week? Anything interesting that we're not paying attention to?
Yeah, looking at Bitcoin, let's look at yen, because it's making lows as we speak. That's rare on a Friday.
Yeah.
Almost lows of the week. Look at that. We had that big short covering intervention. When was that? On January 23rd. And what did it do? Couldn't follow through. We're back under the 20-day moving average. We're making these lows of the week on a Friday. This is the yen. The currencies in the U.S. really stop trading, or the volume falls off at 11 o'clock Central Time. And yet we're making new lows. It wouldn't shock me to see a gap lower. That's a dead cat bounce. That intervention lasted 3 days, and we're right back to where we started. So that's why I think there's good opportunity here.
Okay.
To me, to the downside.
Could be interesting.
Yeah, it's funky that on Friday, when the rest of the world, it's half the world, it's Saturday morning.
Yeah.
In Europe, they're having their third or fourth cocktail. Yeah. And yen is making new lows. So that's out of character. I'm going to watch that Sunday night. It's on my radar.
There you go. Heather has a question in the chat. Is it a new trader issue that they just grab any green? Because I watched the Dow make all-time highs like 8 to 10 times today, I could have made so much just following my plan, and I didn't. Is that a new trader issue, Heather? I would say, yeah, maybe so. Um, but what was your game plan, right? What was your game plan
Yeah.
in the Dow? What did you measure for it, and what did you take out of it? Right? It's very easy to look at a market like the Dow and say, in hindsight, oh, I should have just held on to it. I could have made so much money. But what did you measure for? Right? We talked about this the other day when I got short the NASDAQ. Uh, where was I short the NASDAQ from? One of these. I mean, I had some, not to toot my own horn here, but I was short the NASDAQ from 25,940 on this major sell-off day on the 3rd. I didn't measure for 800 points, so I didn't get 800 points. Right? I got what I measured for, and I measured for about 150, and I think I took maybe about 120 out of it. So that's what I measured for. If the market's going to do more than what I measured for, then I could change how I measure, or I can just say, hey, is my measurement a repeatable process that whether the market's making all-time highs and extending the rally, or trading a normal day, what can I take out of it? I was supposed to stay in until it crossed my under the 20 moving average. So there you go. If that's your game plan, Heather, no matter what happens, then you have to do that, right? If that's what if that's what you're going to say, that's your plan, then do that and don't do anything else. I think what happens is we get in the way. Well, I'm up so much, but if it closes under the 20 moving average, I'm going to give back my profit. If that's a thought that comes into your mind, then I think you're telling yourself what your answer is as far as trade management goes. You're not actually comfortable with doing that, and that's okay. I'm not. You're always going to see me trail trades no matter what, because I've had trades get 2 ticks to a profit target, turn around and run 100 points the other way and stop me out. When that happened too many times, I decided that no matter what, I'm going to take profits when the market presents decent profit to me. I'm accepting that I'm not going to catch a full part of the trend, or I'm not going to catch the full trend, but I'll take a decent part out of it. It's a trade management decision that you have to make, but it's pretty hard to do both. And D said this the other day, or Coach Ray said this actually. You have to define the trade. If it's a scalp, I'll take my 15 points out of the NASDAQ, right? I'll take my 20 points. But if it's a trend trade and I'm defining it as a trend trade, I have to treat it like a trend trade. What would you say to that, Coach Paul?
Oh, you hit on the head. Two things. You hear me say day trading? I like 2 to 1s because that's reasonable. On days like today, if we get a 2 to 1 last night and you're kind of done, you're like, and this is called resulting. There's a very big concept in trading is that you turn around and look and go, what the fuck? Why didn't I hold that?
Yeah.
This is going to happen to you. So if you're a new trader, it comes back to what Coach Jay just said. When we've had many discussions on this, you take what you measured for. When you do that, okay, it went without me, but how many days? What you're not seeing is the 80% of the time it didn't follow through.
Yep.
You took your 2 to 1,
and happy about it,
and damn happy about it.
Yep.
So coming back to this is like, wow, how could I have? Now, why didn't I hold? And then one thing on the opposite, I do swing trading, and it's you sit there and you have to go through the opposite side of that. Like, oh my God, it was a big day. Why didn't I get out here? This is a very common thing because when you look back at what happened today, you're looking at what happened. You're looking at certainty.
Yeah.
When you enter that trade looking forward, there was no certainty. So you can't have consistency going back and go, how can I hold on for that? Because you don't know, but you have to be consistent. If you're playing for that, and that's your plan, you're going to be right 20% of the time. Can you deal with having losses 80% of the time?
Yeah.
And that's possible, and I'm not putting it down. You can, but most new traders, that's not going to happen,
Yep. Yeah.
right? It's in if for old traders like me, it's inhuman. So you followed your plan. You made the money that you measured for. Turn around, wait for the next opportunity. All right. What happens, and you could be, is our mind goes, son of a bitch, I got to get that. You feel like you lost money. So what do? Throw everything out and chase. Who's done that?
Yeah. Same
And that
here.
doesn't end well. So it's a great question. Thanks for bringing that up.
Yeah. One of the things my trading mentor used to say when we were trading stocks, keep 10% of the position. Because what you just said, Coach Paul, we only ever remember the 20% of the times where, oh, I could have caught the big one. If you're deciding to get out, and we would do this, right? If I had 100 shares of a stock, I would sell 90 and keep 10. And then you actually have some skin in the game and see how far the market really goes in your favor. More often than not, it was coming back and those 10 shares were getting stopped out. So like you said, Coach Paul, we only ever remember the times where we could have made more. But if that's your strategy and you see it and you measured it, Heather, you know, there is something there. Micros are key for sure. There was another question I wanted to get to. And we can wrap after this. Oh, any theories about precious metals and why they're behaving the way they are? That's my question for next week. Theories? I don't have any theories. I don't have any theories. Coach Paul, you have any theories?
Oh, yes, I do.
Okay.
I don't trade on my theories.
Yeah.
Now, there's people like very large hedge funds that trade on theories, and then they manage their trade on the theory. And that takes a lot of talent. But here's my theory. Yeah, and you know, it could be true. It couldn't. It might not be. I think that China dumped a lot of their heavy metals and just went, get out. I mean, that kind of move is not by a large hedge fund. It's by an entity. I think the way it happened at those highs in one day, and I've been in this business a long time. I've watched China do this in the grains for decades. They don't tell you till after they're done.
Yeah.
And that kind of move, that has to be a nation or a central bank.
Yeah.
To move that market like that. So that's my theory. And I don't think they're coming back anytime soon. That's my theory. I don't trade my theories, but I grew up on that. I could do this all day.
Yeah.
The problem is I used to trade on that.
Yeah.
And then I get attached to an opinion. And I'm only human. My opinion's attached to my ego.
Yeah.
And then when that happens, you're trading with what? Emotion. But I love the question. So that's my theory.
Faye says, when we plan our trades every day, isn't that just a theory? Not in the same sense of, I think, trying to fit the economy into a day trade. Right? Like I think if you're taking like a bunch of fundamental analysis into a day trade, I think that gets into more, man, there was a trader that hopefully he's still around. I think his name was John. He was in the Discord and he would have like these really great economic theories. And when I look back at them, most of them were pretty valid. But does that information, and it could, does that information help you make a day trade, right? Where most of us are scalping or things like that, right? And I think that's where the difference. So I think planning your trade is approaching the markets with a technical with technical reasoning. For me personally, I think when you bring a lot of fundamentals into day trading, it kind of clouds the picture. And bringing in the reasoning of, oh, this this tech company just reported good earnings, so this has to go up, and then we see the NASDAQ sell off, right? I think that's kind of bringing in theory that may not apply. Oh, this CPI number was good, so the market should go up. That's a theory. The market's going to do whatever it wants to. So I think if you're trading with your trading plan, that's just adapting a technical approach to the markets. Hopefully that makes sense what I just said.
Well, yeah, it does. Another thing why having a plan is it brings consistency. Theory, there's no consistency. You know why it's going up? Because there's more buyers than sellers.
Right.
And I'm not being a jerk here. Let's break it down to the bottom line.
Yeah. More aggressive buyers than
Why is
sellers,
it
more
going
aggressive
down?
sellers than buyers.
Outside of that, why I won't go into. I can do it outside, but I don't trade on that. I used to. Believe me, you get it so attached to having to be right. I got to a point where this market's wrong.
Okay.
Okay, Paul. The market isn't wrong or right. It's neutral. It's an exchange. That's why they call an exchange, where buyers and sellers meet. An exchange. And believe me, it cost me a lot of heartache and money. So we all have theories, and I actually enjoy doing it. I have old friends, and
Yeah,
what do you think? And it's a great, but I can't be consistent in my trading unless I have a plan of execution.
for sure.
And mine is based on technical. So when we talk about planning your trade, trading your plan, in that plan you have a reason to enter and exit and risk management. So the talking heads on TV, that they go to the experts, you notice they're not traders.
Yeah,
I'll
different
go to
game.
the dean of Loyola, Loyola University in Chicago. Was a great professor. Taught a futures trading class when no one had it.
Oh yeah.
And he told me one time, he goes, I had to make a decision if I was going to go stay in school. I was working part-time at the exchange and going to school at night. And he's like, and under my circumstance, I had to make a decision. He goes, well, what do you want to do? And I said, I want to trade and learn how to trade. He goes, well, I teach because I can teach. I don't trade because I don't know how to trade.
Right.
He goes, if you want to do that, go to the floor, find good traders and mimic them, and you'll learn. So I hope that works. It was a great question. That's why we plan a trade a plan.
Awesome stuff. Anything else you want to say, Coach Paul, before we get out of here?
Get some rest this weekend. Who's going to win the Super Bowl? Let's take
Pats.
Seahawks. Let's ask
Gotta go to
our
Pats.
audience.
If you're watching the big game this weekend, who do you got winning? Put a 1 in the chat for the Seahawks, 2 in the chat for the Patriots. Or just put the name in there. Got a Bovada God says Patriots, and if that name says anything about you, I'm curious if you have a bet on the game as well. Isn't that betting app, Bovada, right? But hey, whoever wins, hope everybody has fun. Shout out to Bad Bunny doing the Super Bowl. His latest album's good album. So I'm gonna look forward to that show as well. Whatever you do this weekend, everybody, stay safe and enjoy your weekend. We will see you all Monday. Remember, Anne Marie will be on for the Sunday kickoff, aptly named, especially for Super Bowl Sunday. She'll still be here. starting at the same time, AK Trades. Shout out to PR. Yeah, I think that's it. Coach Paul. We did it. Enjoy your weekend, everybody. Have fun.
All right.
Review your trades if you have to. See you all next week. I think Coach Hoop is still doing his class 6 p.m. Eastern time. Go check him out over there.
Bye.
All right.
Bye.